10-day unit on this poem called The Divine. And I put it in front of you for your reference. And in the back, the questions are my pre and post assessment. So this is my school as of October 2013. Numbers are smaller because it's transitioning from a middle school to it's transitioning from a junior high to a high school. So this year, all the 9th graders went up to the high school. So this year, it's only 7th and 8th graders. So this is like cut in half. Like Brianna said, I was really confused because OSPI said it's 45% reduced lunch based on what it was when it was a junior high school. So,
sorry,
question.
OSPI has different qualifications for free and reduced lunch than districts do.
Good to know.
There's different numbers.
Good to know, because
okay.
this school
I didn't know
is
that.
not a very poor area. There's pockets of poverty, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's a pretty high income area. Fairly. So just a little background of my school district. So I once had a teacher tell me, who was one of the best teachers in the school district. He told me out front that this district lives in an educational fantasy land because we're kind of isolated from Seattle. Not that like we're a lot isolated from like inner city schools, so it's just completely different. So this is Bainbridge Island over here, and we're surrounded by like 3 different naval bases, so a lot of military families. Bremerton has a shipyard, so that kind of gives it more. Bremerton is more like a factory feel, so you could say that is a poorer area in Bremerton, but nothing compared to some of the places in the greater Seattle area. So I'm at some kids at junior high in Silverdale. So this is my class. It's honors in creation of the arts. 2 504 students. Hey, what? I don't even know. Total 27. 9 males and 18 females. So background. So there's quite a bit of background to this. So they've been doing this almost 2-month theme on the Holocaust. So they did Holocaust presentations where they focused on a different theme of the Holocaust. So one did like the final solution. One person did like the actual concentration camps. One kid did people trying to escape out of Holland. So all these different aspects of the Holocaust. Then they watched a documentary about a death march survivor, and then they did this on-demand writing prompt, which was about like global citizenship, basically, and what are we responsible to as far as like our citizens as well as to prevent like genocide happening again. And then now they're reading Anne Frank. The reason I put that quote there is because that quote is going to be part of my gateway activity. So I kind of want to talk about the documentary a little bit. So it's in this order. So the 5th thing we're doing is this poem. It's about 9 or 10 days, depending on how we're going to space it out. So in the documentary, basically this woman, at the moment of her liberation, there's all these basically dying people around her. She quotes this poem with the first lines. And so the first line is, "Nobly man, merciful and good." And it's a poem written by a German Enlightenment philosopher. So everyone in Germany growing up knew who his name was Goethe, is his last name. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I had never heard of him before. But he was a German Enlightenment philosopher. So a lot of kids growing up in Germany knew this poem. So the soldier that liberated her saw her stand up and quote this poem, and it was kind of like this ironic moment, because this is basically, nobly man, merciful and good. So it's kind of this ironic twist of what's going on. It's kind of a cool story. They actually ended up getting married later. It's kind of a cool story. And he was an ally. He was Jewish, who had fled in the 30s, and then came back as an American soldier. It's a pretty cool story. So this is my, did I skip one? No? Okay. Central focus. So I was going to do Things Fall Apart until about 2 weeks ago. So my rationale was written on Things Fall Apart, and all my other material was on Things Fall Apart. So this is kind of last minute for me. So I included some things I think are important for you guys to know. So this is my central focus. Using textual evidence from the divine, students will understand and interpret Goethe's views on human nature and come to their own conclusions about his claims. I'm going to do this for my NTPA as well. So, activities, they're going to be annotating text, or annotating the poem, and then they're going to do these things called powerlet circles, where basically they get together and each group has a role. So one person does like a historical context piece, one person in the group like defines like vocab words, one person is like a wordsmith, one, you get the idea. And then this is going to kind of culminate with a Socratic seminar. So assessments, so that's the pre and post assessment. And then there's a rubric for the powerlet circles that they're going to peer grade. And then there are certain questions that they have to answer in order to participate in the Socratic seminar. That's going to be the main assessment. That's what I'm going to use for my NTPA. And it's similar questions. A little different, but it's similar to that pre and post assessment that I gave you. So here are my unit goals. I hope I don't have any typos. Students will be able to understand the historical context of the poem and consider its meaning in light of modern-day atrocities committed by mankind. Students will annotate and interpret the poem in order to come to their own conclusion of the author's claims. Students will have meaningful discussions and share their findings. And then I included my rationale just because, again, this was a last-minute switch for me. Again, I hope there's no typos in here. Throughout our unit on this poem, students will be able to reflect on prior knowledge from their Holocaust presentations. The documentary about Gerda Weissman was the death march survivor's name, and the diary of Frank. So that's part of our rationale, is that they're going to be building on prior knowledge in a historical context. So a close reading of this poem not only encourages interdisciplinary connections, but also allows students to wrestle with philosophical issues about the nature of mankind. Throughout this unit, I will not allow students to elicit questions about my personal beliefs. This poem is a challenging text that meets two key common core standards. So that's really important because I sat down and talked with my mentor teacher about this poem, and she's done this unit in the past. She just told me straight up, she just said that you have to be careful because kids will start asking you questions about like, your personal beliefs and your faith. Because this is a very like humanistic poem. I don't know if that's the right terminology. So it's really good, but it definitely addresses some issues about God and things of that nature, so you have to be careful the way that you discuss it with students. Another thing is that this poem is pretty challenging for 8th graders, but these kids are totally capable. They're honors kids, and a lot of kids, it's self-selected, so they decide if they want to sign up for the class. And yeah, you'll get a couple kids who aren't ready for it, and still sign up for it. But for the most part, they're really good kids. In fact, she uses the same curriculum for her gifted students. So she teaches gifted. It's called the Magnet program. So it's like this block class, and they're all kind of a cohort. And the honors curriculum and the gifted curriculum that she uses, it's the same. There's really no difference. She might go a little bit deeper with the kids in some aspects, but the curriculum is the same. So these are pretty high achieving kids. Little classroom management problems. We can silent read for an entire period and they'll be absolutely quiet. It's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Here are the standards. So cite textual evidence that most strongly supports analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inference drawn from the text. Now, this bottom one here, arguments for claims of clear reasons and relevant evidence. I feel like one of these was broken up into, if you go to the Common Core of the CCS website, I think the bottom one was broken up into different, so I just put that one. And I don't know if I'm going to use that one for the NTPA because it's more general. I might have to find one of the ones that